Everybody, so this is going to be an update on what's been going on with me. And this is going to be a little bit, I guess, silly on my part because this is the first day of us going down, doing a little bit of oxyacetylene cutting on some scrap to start setting up stuff for MIG. And I don't know what it is about being in a totally different shop area in the school and having a new teacher and having to like remember all these other different locations and stuff like that. I just felt a little bit like, what's the word, anxious or out of place because for stick welding we actually have our own booth, our own little area. Everything is kind of neat and lined up. It's in one little spot. Yeah, I kind of had my own personal space and a list of other things, and I felt kind of, for the lack of a better word, uh, lost. And this is an awkward position for me to be in or feeling, and I was second guessing myself. A list of things that didn't even make a lot of sense, and um, it dawned on me that part of the reason why I was feeling that way was uncertainty. There is a certain sense of jitters that I started getting from the fact that I don't really know this teacher all that well. I don't really know where I'm going to be most of the time and what's going on. My routine has been messed up, so it makes sense. Um, and it's kind of strange actually going through that process of calling myself out on that. But here's the thing that actually got me slightly jittery. I knew for a fact that today we would be going in and doing a tour of the new area that we'll be working on to learn MIG, but I wore the wrong pair of glasses today. These are obviously very big, and the actual glasses that I wear for my torch barely fit over these. It was very cumbersome, it was uncomfortable, it made me feel awkward, slightly embarrassing. But on the bright side, I made it through that part fine. My issue is I noticed I need to brush up on my acetylene torch setup and breakdown and get a little bit more confident in that. And what I mean by this, I can do it. It's just that I find myself second guessing myself an awful lot when there's a bunch of people around me. And I realized what was causing that was the fact that I had not acclimated to my surroundings yet. And it's kind of funny that I'm thinking about this because it wasn't just me. It's just that I am the person who is rather blunt and I don't hold punches. So if you've been around me, you probably already know I say what I'm thinking. And so the whole time I'm sitting there and I'm like watching other people go up. And at this point, there were only four of us in class today instead of five. And hopefully the other person will be in tomorrow because I kind of want to stick with the same people because we went from 8 people to five. I kind of want to stick with the 5 people that I know in the class. Although I am appreciative of the fact that I am in a small class because we actually do get a little bit more hands on time, which made this situation a little less stressful because at least if I was going to have issues, I was having issues in front of people that I knew, minus the teacher. Um, Now, here's the funny part, I cut just fine. The issue was feeling awkward with that many people around me that I didn't know. And this is me being 100% honest with you. This is a part of me that I'm working on because I am very introverted and it kind of drains me a little bit dealing with that type of a circumstance. I kind of like having a set priority of what I'm going to be doing, when I'm going to be doing, where I'm going to be going to do that. Project set in front of me for me to do, and get the deadline met. That kind of thing. I mean, that kind of thing. But once I got into it and was doing what I need to do, I was pretty good. It's just that it's always this situation in which when I'm doing something new, and I'm getting used to that aspect of it, but I'm very open about it now, because at least if I do feel uncomfortable, I can let someone else know so that they don't add to it, because that is a thing. That very much is a thing, being a female and being the only female in my particular class, and then having to make sure on some level I'm not being treated differently, or I'm not being brushed aside, or I'm not being focused on extra hard on something I'm actually good at. Like that type of a thing is something that unfortunately I actually do have to deal with sometimes, and I've been trying my best to not make that awkward for any of my teachers or myself. So for the most part, if I feel uncomfortable, I've actually gotten to the point that I'll actually say something. I'll say, hey, this is how this is supposed to be, right? Or this is how this is supposed to work, right? I would rather ask the question than to be in the situation where as though I feel as though I'm afraid to actually ask somebody about something that, even though I might be right, it's good to actually fully know, hey, is there some other way I can do this? Is there a way I can make this easier? Work smarter, not harder, right? Like, I don't want to be in that situation where I am legit paying to learn this stuff. It's not like I'm on a job or something and I'm getting paid. It's the other way around. So I've actually put myself in situations in which it's like, if I feel uncomfortable, I'm gonna say something. Like, I'm pretty sure we're paying like $22.60 per hour to be in that school. So it makes sense for me to actually get my money's worth out of knowledge. I mean, that's just how that works. But that aside, other than the fact that I felt awkward and slightly embarrassed, when it comes down to it, and this is the same thing about the stick welding, even though I might sound the way that I do about the situation, I I more than passed. I'm actually good at what I do. It's just that there's a part of me that is I guess super humble about certain things. So even if I'm good at something, even if I'm the best in my class at something, I'm still going to be that person to say I could have did better. That's just how I am as a person. And I know for a fact I have this issue with making sure that even if I'm not 100% comfortable with something, I'm going to try it in a different way anyway, just to see if maybe that might be better for me, or maybe that'll make me better at what I'm doing. So I actually have to give the teacher a thumbs up on the fact that, despite the fact that I said the stuff that I did, he didn't take it as a certain kind of way. He kind of understood what I was saying, which I actually thought was interesting enough for me, and it made me feel a lot more comfortable with the situation. Um, as funny as it is, once I got past cutting that piece and went and cooled it off and got my pieces and was going about my business, it dawned on me I actually did a good job. And the thing about my classmates that makes me so happy is the fact that they actually will point that out to me. In the same way I'll point it out to them, hey, you did pretty good, or that actually looks great. I know you probably felt some kind of way while you're doing it, but it was great. So that makes it feel way less stressful for somebody who's introverted like me, to actually be around people that I feel comfortable with. Now, if you've been following me, you probably already know I have worked in positions in which the people around me probably wouldn't have known I was an introvert at all. But just because I was sergeant at the World Trade Center, just because I was supervising security, just because I've dealt with customer service and I've done all that stuff, does not mean that I don't still have my little quirks with me, and I am fully aware of them. I know, I totally know that when it comes to being told what to do, I have no problem with that. You tell me what to do, and you actually tell me what to do, and you tell me in detail, and you tell me accurately, I'll go do it. But if I have a question about something, trust and believe I'm gonna ask, because I'm not gonna be that fool who didn't ask a question and end up hurt. Okay? Because there have been too many situations of hearing things happen to other students, or hearing things that end up happening to a teacher because a student didn't follow the rules or safety protocols. And so this is what actually had me thinking about this particular update, because tomorrow we'll be going in, and hopefully it'll be my first time actually welding in MIG. Now, here's the thing that's got me kind of feeling a little silly about this. It's the fact that I've been told repeatedly how easy this is supposed to be, how you learn stick welding. If you do good at that, you should be good at this. And this is how my mind works with something like that. I see it as, if I haven't done it before, just because I've done something else that's supposed to be harder does not mean that that's going to be easy for me. I don't look at it like that. I look at it, this is my first time doing something. What are the steps I need to do that? How is this supposed to work? Learn what I can about that, and then proceed to learn through actual physical work. Because it doesn't matter how much you know in your head about something, practically, if you can't put it into practice and actually get it to work, it's kind of pointless. So, I really like the fact that at the school is very hands on, because at least in that way, I might not fully know terminology for certain things up until a certain point, like in the beginning, but over time, seeing a machine, actually running the machine, actually doing certain things with the machine, is easy to just pick up what each thing is when you can physically put that in your mind castle, if that makes sense. Like, I can legitimately go and stick weld with no problem and not need ton of direction when it comes to running a bead, or looking and seeing, hey, this is how I fill up this plate. Why? Because the teacher that I had actually showed me how to do that. So I have confidence. I have a confidence level built for that. And the same thing needs to happen for me when I go into MIG. Now, the thing that actually does have me feeling some kind of way, though, I am a little bit concerned, and I'm hoping that this goes away. But there's a part of me that from the jump I felt a little bit awkward being the only female in my class. There are other females in the building who are learning the same thing, but I'm the only one in my class, and it makes me feel a little bit awkward at times. And even though my classmates are really awesome, like they are, I love them to death. They're awesome. Each one of them has their own little personality thing going on, and each one of them is really good at what they do. The thing that makes me feel a little bit awkward is every other class I've seen, there's at least been one other woman, and it just seems like, yeah, there are no female instructors. I'm the closest I get is saying hi and bye to some other female that's in a class that's going to graduate out. So, yeah, that's that's a little bit awkward. But other than that, um, for the most part, I feel like the teachers don't really look at me like that, and that hasn't posed a problem for me yet that I'm aware of. Um, if anything, I feel like there's more pressure on me to do better, because quote unquote women are supposed to be very patient, and it takes a lot of patience to do this type of work. Uh, but I legitimately felt very uncomfortable, felt very awkward. On the bright side, I ended up getting my own space in the group locker. So on the bright side, I don't have to carry as much of my stuff back and forth to my car and up flights of steps. So that's a good thing. But yeah, I flat out got told, like, first day of this class, and got singled out that I should be the best in the class. So that's, yeah, that's a little bit of pressure. And the twist on this is, when I went into stick welding, one of my classmates said that to me, and I didn't really think much of it. But when it came down to it, and with our grades, well, guess what? When it came to hands on stick welding, my grades actually said that. And I actually am very proud of that. And I was surprised a little bit, because the type of person I am, I usually will pump the other people up around me and be all supportive of what they're doing and that kind of thing. I guess that's something that's in me. I like to see other people succeed. So even if I'm having my own little issues, which for me, I'm finding out from being in school, I'm very hard on myself. Like, I'm ridiculously hard on myself, because once I got to look at that grade, it sunk in how good I was at what I was doing. I had to stop myself from like crying because I was legitimately in my own mind putting myself somewhere else on the totem pole with the other classmates, and to see that I actually am at the top like that, it was something that actually had me just sitting there looking like, oh wow, all these times that I looked at the situation the way that I was looking at it, it wasn't just them being polite. I actually was good. Like, I really am to the point that I know I could legit run a plate and fill it up, and I would still find something to nitpick myself on. Even if the teacher said it was good, I would find something that I think that I could have did better at. And on one hand, I think that's a very good trait, but on another hand, I think I could be a little bit less harsh on myself when it comes to what I'm doing. Although it's going to be a little hard for me to do that just because I just know, I just know that it's just in me to want to do better. So this is like the way that I've motivated myself. Okay, sure, I might get embarrassed, I might fail a little, or I might just be embarrassed and anxious, and I'm not actually failing, but that's what it feels like to me. And that's legit kind of what happened today. I'm sitting there thinking I'm doing bad and all this other stuff, and then I end up seeing someone else go and do whatever, and it's like, you know what? They're cool with it. I'm cool with it. We're all learning at the same time. We can help each other. This is good. I shouldn't be this worked up. And that's just something that I figured I would throw in there because when it comes to me doing my vlog, it's not all me just being happy and cheerful and being perfect. Like, that's just, it's just not going to be the case. If I'm having a bad day, trust me, you're going to find out I'm not doing all that great. Or if I think I'm not doing all that great, you're going to see that that's what's going on with me. So today was a little bit awkward for me, similar to like if you go back and you look at my first few vlogs when I was going in stick welding. I'm all excited, I'm all up there, I'm like pumping myself up, but at the same time there's always this situation where I run across something that might make me think awfully hard about the choices that I'm making. um the strange thing about this is I found myself missing being able to just burn rod. Like, I felt like I was suffering from withdrawal from stick welding. Like, I just wanted to go in my booth and just weld. Like, this is what was going on in my head. And I think it was leading to part of the weirdness or weird anxiety, the fact that my routine got so used to I would just go in my booth and fill up this plate and critique myself and ask the teacher if I did okay. And now it's more like you don't really have your own booth anymore. You will be swapping in and out of booths. You need to clean up this booth. There's a night class that might screw your booth up. Oh, by the way, don't leave your stuff around or your plate around because then it's fair game. Then somebody might take your stuff. Okay, I'm not even exaggerating this. This is what the teacher said. So now it's like I finally got talked into putting some of my gear inside of the locker that our class has. It's just our class's stuff. So I'm like, I trust them. So I don't have to worry about randomly coming back and my grinder is gone or something. That that's like a thing for me. I'm sorry. I know I can't be the only one that gets frustrated with stuff like that. I don't want to leave my stuff somewhere and then I come back for it and it's gone and then there's a bunch of grown people acting like they don't know where it went. Like, but that's totally a thing apparently, because I asked people in the class above me, and I asked one of the other teachers about it. Oh, hey Salem, you want to be in there? Hey Salem. But I asked one of the other teachers, and so I was just laughing about this because it's like I don't know anyone who would feel confident in leaving something laying around if they heard somebody's item turned up missing, or don't leave your plate around. Like, and what I mean by plate, I mean like you got your little plate that you didn't cut, you put your name on it, it's laying around in the shop, and some other person will randomly just come take your plate and claim it if you leave it laying around. You know what? This is why I've decided I put my toolbox inside of the locker, my helmet, and my main PPE. I put inside the locker right next to my friend in class's stuff. So if something turns up missing, it'll be because someone else opened that locker. Because I trust the teacher, I trust all four of my other classmates, and if something turns up missing, I will be upset because I've already did what back in the day. You probably remember this when you were in grade school. If you had something that you really cared about, you put your name on it, especially if you knew somebody else had a habit of swiper no swiping. So I just made sure I put my name on everything. Everything's inside the bags where it's supposed to be. I'm pretty sure my other classmate knows what's his and I know what's mine. Shouldn't have an issue, right? So I just thought it was humorous that that is a thing inside of an actual school. Who takes tools that they know don't belong to them and think that no one is going to get upset about that? I'm sorry. I'm being I'm taken back by that because it shouldn't happen. That should not be a thing. But I'm just gonna hope I made the right choice by leaving my stuff there because it's gonna take a little bit of strain um off of me because look at it this way. I would be carrying my backpack with my helmet. I have a light that I bought for my booth. I have my toolbox with all of my other stuff in it. And that stuff over time, it is kind of heavy to carry around. Legit, even though I'm strong, like I am strong and I have no problem with carrying stuff, it can be kind of annoying carrying that much stuff up flights of steps and then to the shop and then down the steps and then back to the car wherever I got to park the car at, mind you. So I'm gonna try to get used to leaving my stuff there because it's just this thing. I've never been that person that felt 100% okay with just leaving my stuff somewhere that I don't have the key to. Like, I know it can't just be me, but there's something awkward about that. Like, even though I know who's got the key to it, even though I know they're going to lock it up, there's always this sense of what if, for whatever reason, someone at the night class decides to try to say that that's their stuff and then my stuff is gone. I would be upset. So, so this is me just putting it out there in the ether that that was something that I thought was really interesting that even came up as a topic in class from the teacher. By the way, the teacher is the one who actually brought up it's fair game if your stuff is left behind. It's fair game, and I'm just like, what? What? Yeah, if my stuff is inside my locker, I'm not going to be stressed like that. But if I happen to bring something in there and it's inside of the booth that I'm using at the time and it turns up missing, I'm telling you, they going to be messing with my patience an awful lot because I I just don't want to have to be the person to react like that because it's like it's bad enough to be in a position now that there's another class or a group of other people using the same booths, and then if somebody's being dirty and I'm saying it like that, they're being dirty and they're not cleaning up behind themselves, and then they have the nerve to also possibly steal your stuff. That's not cool. But let me move on past that because this just got me. I'm like, you can probably tell I'm thrown back at the fact that that's even still a possibility in an establishment like that. Um, yeah, that actually is true. Most of the time, people probably wouldn't be dumb enough to do that. But I had this joke that I said to one of the teachers about that, and it was if I find out that someone has taken my item, which I used actual marker to put my name on, and or I find out they've used a grinder to grind my name off of it because I know what location I put my name on it. If I find said individual, would I be wrong if I called them out? Now, this is the thing that had me almost done because I know for a fact that's not exactly the best situation to be in, but I know what type of person I am. I would just want my stuff back. I wouldn't be trying to say that, hey, you a thief or whatever, but everybody makes mistakes. But if you done took the time to grind out my name, we gonna have a problem. like, like we gonna have a problem because that's gonna be how you gonna have to get that off of there. You're gonna have to grind it out. So now I'm at the point that had I fully knew that it was going to be to this level, I would have straight stick welded marks on all of my tools. And don't judge me for this, but I legit thought about doing that while I was down there. But now I kind of feel like I missed out on an opportunity to mark star asterisks on all of my tools. Just so that someone couldn't say, oh, my bad, I thought it was mine. No, boo boo. It ain't yours, it's mine. Like, no. And this is why also I actually went out of my way, and I already love pockets, and y'all probably already know that about me, but I got to the point that my welding jacket, and this is the same one that I got from the school, but because of the fact of burn holes and other things, I decided that I would repair it. But if I was going to repair it, I decided I would actually repair it and make it useful. So I added legit pockets on the inside and pockets to patch up all of the holes on my actual jacket. And then I just kind of said, you know what, since why not? Just that serves no other purpose other than the fact that I like it. Anyway, I figured I would give myself some extra pockets in the circumstance, because I know that this does happen when you're working in close quarters with other people, that occasionally somebody sits something down, they might accidentally forget what booth they was in, whatever. You know what? I now have a pocket to put my pliers, I have a pocket to put my clamp set, and I have a pocket to easily put those small items into my pocket so I can walk around with it just in case somebody decide to take it. Now and the funny part with that actually makes me kind of laugh about that type of a situation in general. We all supposed to be grown people. Why would you do that to someone else? I know for a fact that you wouldn't want it done to you. So why would you do that to somebody else? Why would you take somebody else's stuff? You want to keep doing that, ain't you? Why you gotta be the center of attention, huh? But come here, you. But yeah, I probably rambled on quite a bit about that. But long story short, I had a very awkward day today. I was embarrassed a little bit. I kind of felt like I could have did better, but I can take a little bit of solace in the fact that I wasn't the only one who was a little bit forgetful or a little bit stumbly about things. But the funny thing about this is I am learning to laugh a little bit more than usual about circumstances like that, because as somebody who's introverted, I'm usually not in a situation that I have to deal with certain things unless I want to. And there's a certain amount of energy that I feel like is drained out of me when I'm like in a situation that I'm forced to be in, that you can probably tell too when I'm in a situation, because I'll probably have this look on my face that's like, I don't want to be here. And I gotta work on that, but that's just how it is. Anyway, I feel like Salem is asking me to give him attention, and he's going to continuously keep coming over and trying to walk in front of the screen. And I'll probably make a post or update again soon in the future. Anyway, and I probably gotta do a few vlogs on some other little things that I got to review, but I should probably get going. Anyway, hope everybody's doing good, staying blessed and feeling well, and I will see you all next time. Feel free to leave me a comment or the usual junk about whatever it is you might want me to talk about, and I will see you all next time. Bye.